from where you are now to where you want to get, and just focus on that, because yes, we all have things that we don't like about ourselves, because my sisters may be the most popular girls in class, but they may have other things that bother them that they wish they had, and it's just part of life
I would,
Yeah,
and being human.
it's just part of life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
and I would add to that that I have the same vision of myself as you do, Michelle. Just I have two brothers, and they are younger brothers as well. So it's even tougher for me to see
Mm.
that my younger siblings were extremely popular and things like that. And then just kind of life happened, and I have this vision of myself just misfit and things like that, and then a different vision of just at some point, the 20-year-old unsuccessful kind of chaotic mess, blah blah blah. And one day I overhear, or I don't know how I come across this, but my both of my younger brothers put me on this pedestal of success and confidence and bravery and things like that. And the way that they describe me, I was just like, who are you? Who are they talking about? And my youngest brother was like, this, what do you mean? Like this, you are such a like a big role model and something very like something to look up to, and you put the standards so high. And I was like, that, you're crazy. Anyway, all this to say that the perception you have of yourself is probably not
Mhm.
the right one. Like it's probably not the one that other people have.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will add an asterisk though, and add that you're the eldest. You're the eldest sister,
Yeah.
so there's no one above you.
No.
So yeah, so
God.
that's, I think that's also part of it. I think it's like the older sister, the older sibling is always like the one, because I also had my well, I have an older brother, but my oldest sister has always been like the idol.
Mm.
So I don't know, maybe that's part of it. But yeah, you
Probably,
deserve it.
probably.
You're awesome.
Oh, yes, I
I
mean,
would put you on a pedestal too.
um, but I mean, yeah, yeah, and there is some of that as of I'm the elder sibling, but it's the image that you have of yourself. That we talk about self-awareness a lot because of Love Is Blind
Hmm.
and Love Island and all of this. That there is one side of self-awareness. You guys need to open your eyes about your kind of downfalls, but there is the other side of you're probably not aware of the amazing stuff that you're doing.
Hmm.
And maybe, well, I don't know how you guys think about this, but if you can't do it yourself, maybe ask your loved ones and they can kind of help you into that.
I
Yeah,
think
I
in
think,
general it's important to get, constructive criticism. Yeah, go on.
yeah. I think yeah, just having that support, that is really important. Asking people, having people to like
Hmm.
bounce your ideas off of, I think is really important because I remember um, you know, going back to this concept of not fitting in. So I also felt unworthy of, people's help or people's support. So I just wouldn't ask anyone for anything.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
as I've grown up and got that awareness that I cannot do this alone is when I started to ask for help, because we always think, oh, I can do this by myself. F people, I'm going to get it done. But you don't have to. You don't have to do it
Hmm.
that way. That's a very difficult way to go through life, is doing all this stuff on your own.
You
And
also think it's a weakness at times. Like I thought for many years that it's just a weakness to ask for help.
yes, yes. And as you build on everything that you have coming at you, you realize you can't do this alone. And if you're doing it alone,
Hmm.
it's just very difficult. And I know because I've been there, and it feels lonely. It feels like a dark place that you're in, like not being able to ask. But I think a lot of that comes from our feeling of our feeling of not feeling worthy of that help that
Mm.
we can ask for. Because when I started asking for help, people were more than willing. more than willing to give you that help. And they start seeing you as someone who can help themselves even, right? Like, yes, you're going to ask for help, but you're not asking them to do things for you. There's a difference there. You're asking for help. You're asking for guidance. You're asking for a little support around what you're doing. And I think that says a lot about a person, because every time I read something about, someone who is confident and someone who like really appreciates themselves and feels worthy, is that they go and they ask for help, whether it's a coach, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a parent, a sibling, whatever it is, because they know that they're worthy of that help. And so it all ties back into our level of worthiness. And no, it's not a weakness. It's going to make you a better person. People are always willing to help. That's something that I have found. And now I ask for help. If I legitimately need that help, I'm going to go ask someone who knows about what I'm trying to figure out, whether it's, a feeling that I have of, oh my God, I feel lonely today because I've been alone for so long, or, something in my business. Yes, I try to figure it out. If I can't, I ask for help, and it's perfectly fine. And I wish more people would do that, knowing that they are worthy of that help.
It's, I mean, a good way of kind of making an example of that. When you're a child, you don't learn how to, walk, talk, use a fork, bathe yourself. Like, you don't, it doesn't just become innate. Your parents teach you, and then you go to school and you learn, debatable how useful all of you learn at school is useful to you today, but you learn some useful stuff. And and for people who do sports at any level, you've got coaches who help you get better. Then you go to adversaries who, somebody who's better than you that makes you even better. You've got all of these everyday kind of just this proof that people helping you is fine. So why is this so, I don't know, why is there a blockage around this?
Yeah, I also think we need to know that, I feel like a part of us also kind of maybe expects people to ask us if we need help, or to notice that we need help. But people either don't notice because we may be better at hiding it than we think, or people may be more oblivious than we think. But I think also a lot of times people would rather you come to them because they don't know how to approach it. They don't know if they should. They don't know what to say. They don't know if it's appropriate. I think I don't know, we sort of just need to, I don't know why it is, why we get to this point, but.
Well, and to touch on that, I think that has a lot to do with the aspect of people aren't focused on you, right? As much as people are
have their own
judging us and looking at what we're doing, they don't care. They're busy. And
especially as you get older.
Yeah. And so they're not noticing that you might need help. They don't pick up on those clues. I mean, not that we're out there, trying to give out clues that we need help, because a lot of the times we're not. We're just like, oh, I'll figure it out myself. But you have to communicate that. That's a huge thing with my coaching, is you want someone to know something, communicate it. They're not going to know. You don't walk around with signs on your forehead, saying, I need help, or don't cross this boundary with me, or I have a certain expectation. People don't read minds. And so if you need the help, you got to communicate it. People aren't paying as much attention to us as we think. And that's in a good way and a bad way. Like, they don't care about you too much because they're focused on them, not because you're not a special person or that you deserve that. It's because we're so focused on us. So if one of you ladies needs help, I'm going to need you to communicate that to me, and I will do whatever I can to help you. But I have to know. And that's a huge thing with these 20 somethings that I coach, is like, they don't speak up, and we're not going to know they need that help, whether it's for confidence, for schoolwork, for, something stressful at home. We just don't know. So communication is key. And that's something that is going to make a huge difference in this, being aware of what's going on with your life and how you can help yourself. Is you got to communicate it.
I think a lot
Amen
of
to
times we
that.
also don't know how. Yeah, definitely amen to that. But I think a lot of times we also don't know, not only not how to communicate, but also we don't know what to communicate. Because, you know, you feel, well, especially when you're younger, I think when you're a teenager, you know, you're angry at the world and you have no idea even why. You just want to be angry, you just want to be frustrated, you want to go out and rebel. But I think also in your 20s, like you just, you know, you get, especially with all this, the social media and the internet and everything, and there's so much anxiety going around, and you have no idea why you're feeling it. You have no idea why you need that help. You're just feeling this, you know, that there's something in you, or there's something in your life that isn't working properly. You don't know what it is, and you don't know how to voice it to yourself. So like, why would anyone else understand you? You don't realize that something, sometimes, like, when this is ties back to what we were saying before, like sometimes we need to say it out loud to someone else, because it either also helps us minimize it once you say it out loud, but also it helps us, you know, someone else may hear it and help us figure out together with them, or they may see something that we can't see because we're too close to it. And we also need to learn how to accept the help and how to accept the, like I said before, the constructive criticism or what the other person has to say. A lot of times we also don't want to hear it. There's certain truths that we're not willing to put up because we don't want that. We don't want to put in the effort. We don't want to put in the hard work. We don't want to face the fact that there's something wrong with us, with quotation marks, because I don't believe it's, you know, there's nothing wrong with us. There's just certain things that need to
Well,
be worked on and tweaked, like a car that needs like an engine check.
it's, I don't
Your
know that
check
it's
engine light is on.
Yeah.
actually, you say that jokingly, but I think that's actually the perfect metaphor.
I should
of-
use
there's
that. I should,
You should,
yeah,
I mean, make a note of it. It's like
I
40 minutes
will.
in the recording. It's not that there's something wrong with you, but it is what we keep going back to these last few episodes of self-awareness. And you just want to be aware of your downfalls, and it doesn't mean that it's wrong or you're a bad person. It just means that everybody's human and everybody's going to mess up at one point or another. And I think that's just, you need to accept that about yourself. And me personally, it took me a long time to just accept that I have these flaws, and so the more I kind of shoved them away, the bigger they came out when they did come out. And I was just like, now I need to just be aware of this and make that better. And what I would add to what you were saying is that the feedback, you want to make sure also that you're surrounding yourself by the right people. Because I think, especially with these 20 kind of like these vulnerable 20-year-olds, they might surround themselves by the wrong people who are very happy to give them advice. It's just not the right one. And, you know, in
Yeah.
relationships, may they be romantic or friendship or even family, you want to make sure that you're surrounding yourself by the right people who will build you up, but who will also be kind of honest with you with just like fair and constructive criticism. And I think that's also a tough part, that we don't ever learn how to do that. It's just, you know, you either figure it out or things like that, but at school or in family and even today, it's not something that I see talked about a lot, of just surrounding yourself with the right people, learning how to do it.
It is really important, because, you know, people, misery